The message came at 9:15 on a Tuesday. My phone lit up with the group chat called Our Family. Mom typed, "We think you need to take a step back right now. Your sister needs room to breathe." Then Aunt Linda put a thumbs up under it. That was it. They pushed me out like I was nobody. I sat on my couch eating cereal, watching the milk get soggy, thinking about how they just erased me with 10 words. So I picked up my phone and typed back, "Okay. Understand. I will also step back from the college fund I made for everyone." I hit send. 10 minutes later my phone started ringing and ringing. By the time I went to sleep, every single thing in their world had started falling apart. Before we continue, kindly subscribe and drop your name in the comments. We'll be giving shoutouts in our next video. Everyone always said I was the responsible one. The daughter who never caused problems. The one who remembered birthdays and paid bills on time. I used to smile when they said that. Now I know it just meant I was the one who fixed everything when it broke. 4 years ago, on a day that smelled like cut grass and fear, my mom called me from outside the hospital. The sun was so bright I could hear her squinting through the phone. Her words came out shaky. "Jenna, the school says your sister can't start classes without the first payment. She'll lose her spot. Please help us." I was 25, living in a small studio, still thinking that being a good daughter meant never saying no. I grabbed my laptop, went to my bank website, and moved all the money I'd been saving to buy a car. $18,000 disappeared like smoke. My sister started college the next week. My parents said it was a blessing. Nobody thanked me out loud. That day changed everything inside me. After that, every problem became mine to solve. Dad's broken laptop, Mom's credit card bills, my sister's textbooks. I kept telling myself it was okay. This is what families do. But helping became a habit. And habits became rules I didn't write. Then one Sunday over pizza, Mom said, "Maybe we should make this official. Start a college fund for everyone. You're really smart with money." I nodded because it sounded like a good idea. Like I was being helpful. What I actually did was build a trap for myself. The Jensen College Fund lived under my name. My bank. My password. My responsibility. Paid for everything. Tuition, dorm fees, groceries, even little things like my cousin's art supplies. Every month I logged in, checked the numbers, moved money around, and told myself this wouldn't last forever. I watched everyone's life get easier because I kept the wheels turning. My boyfriend Noah would say, "You treat your family like a job that never pays you." I would laugh. But at night, alone in the bathroom, I would cry where nobody could hear. By year 2 I stopped buying clothes. I canceled my gym membership. I ate pasta every night because it was cheap and didn't go bad. Every time I thought about stopping, another emergency would happen. It felt like the world was punishing me for wanting something for myself. Then the big request came. My sister asked if the fund could pay for a trip to Europe. "It's for my education," she said. "I need to see the world." I waited for someone else to say it was too much. Instead, Dad wrote, "That sounds amazing. Education comes in many forms." Mom added a smiley face. I stared at my phone, realizing nobody saw this as my money anymore. It was theirs. My bank account was their piggy bank. And I was the mean one if I said no. That's when something small changed in me. I renamed the file on my computer. It used to be called Jensen Family Love Fund. I changed it to Jensen Records, because that's what it really was. A list of everything they took. But I kept going. Kept paying. I was scared that if I stopped, everything would explode. Then one afternoon, Dad called while I was at work. His voice sounded practiced, like he'd been thinking about what to say. "Sweetheart, maybe you should take a break for a little while. You seem really stressed lately." That sentence, "take a break," stuck in my brain like a splinter. I didn't know then, but those same words would show up again 4 years later in a group message that would end it all. After that phone call, things got weird in small, quiet ways. The messages came more often. The tone was nicer but heavier. "Just until next month. Can you help with Mom's car insurance? It's only temporary." Every message felt like they'd planned it together. Then came the message that broke the pattern. My sister texted, "Could the fund cover a photography trip to Paris? It would really help my career." Waited. Maybe someone would say it was too much. Dad answered first. "That's a great idea. Investing in yourself is important." Mom put a heart under it. That was it. My silence meant yes. That night, I sat at my desk staring at the fund account like it was alive. The balance looked wrong. There were charges I didn't remember. Stores I'd never heard of. Plane tickets. Something called travel insurance. I took a picture with my phone. My hand didn't shake. The next morning, Dad called acting normal. "Hey Jen, did you see your sister's text? We thought maybe the fund could pay for half." Like I was a committee voting on it. I said quietly, "Dad, the fund was for school emergencies." He laughed like I was being silly. "Her career is an emergency. Then maybe she should get a job, not a vacation." The phone went silent. Then he sighed. That same disappointed dad sigh that makes you feel like you're 10 years old again. "You've changed, Jenna." He was right. A few days later I got an invitation on my phone. Family video call. Saturday 7 p.m. The subject had a little sun emoji. I joined because I thought maybe they wanted to actually talk. 5 minutes in, my sister took over. "I just think Jenna's been really negative lately. It's not about the money. It's about her attitude." I sat frozen, staring at the screen. Mom jumped in soft but sharp. "Honey, just listen for a second, okay?" Dad added, "We're saying this because we love you." I forced a smile. "I've been listening for years. I paid so you could all keep talking. Tonight I want to finish one sentence." Nobody said anything. Then Dad said it. The same thing from that phone call months before. "Maybe you should take a step back. Give everyone space." There it was. The exact same script. But this time all of them were saying it. I smiled a tiny smile. "Okay. I'll do that." They didn't understand what those words meant coming from me. They thought I'd cry and send flowers later. Instead, I opened my laptop that night, pulled up the fund folder and whispered, "You wanted space. You're about to get a lot of it." That night, while the world outside my window went dark, I sat at my kitchen table and opened the Jensen Records file. Lines of numbers glowed on the screen. Rent, doctor bills, school fees, car payments. I looked at them until my eyes hurt. Then I started clicking buttons. Auto payment off. Future transfer cancelled. Scheduled payment deleted. Each click felt like cutting a rope. One by one. I downloaded the final statement and saved it in a new folder called Jensen Records Final. The name felt right. 4 years of saving them, all turned into neat rows of proof. When the last button turned off, the air in my apartment felt different. Not peaceful yet. More like the quiet before a storm. I made tea, sat back in my chair and whispered out loud, "You wanted space. I'm giving you an ocean." 2:47 in the morning my phone started buzzing. Once. Then it didn't stop. The light flashed across my ceiling like a strobe. 9 missed calls. 15:25. 67 by the time the sun came up. Dad's voicemail came first. The school sent a notice. Everything got declined. "What's going on? Are you okay?" Then Mom. "Sweetheart, this isn't what we meant. I need to pay the electric bill. Please call me back." Then my sister, angry and shaking. "You're so selfish. You know I needed that money. You've always been jealous of me." Jealous of what? Their chaos. Their constant asking. I didn't answer any of them. I watched the messages pile up like leaves in the fall. When the phone finally stopped, I let out a long breath. The silence didn't hurt. Felt clean. At 10 a.m., Noah called. "So space, huh?" I laughed for the first time in weeks. "Turns out it includes my bank password." He paused. "You want me to come over?" I thought for a second. Then I asked, "Doesn't your friend Kelly work at the credit union?" He blinked. "Yeah, why?" "Just curious," I said. That was my first step from defending myself to protecting myself. By noon, Dad texted again. We can talk about this. Just turn the payments back on for now. Aunt Linda sent a message too. Families forgive. That's what love is. To them, forgiveness meant my money. I closed my laptop and said quietly to myself, love doesn't mean paying for everything. That afternoon, the college called my sister to ask about a bounced payment. Would you like to set up a new payment plan? The woman on the phone asked kindly. No, my sister said. My sister will handle it. Is she available? The woman asked. My sister's voice got tight. She should be. I wasn't. Not anymore. I wasn't mad. I was just done. Because when people think your kindness belongs to them, the only way to prove you're serious is to show them paperwork. By Sunday night, I stopped counting the calls. My phone looked like a disaster. Dad's number blinking between anger and panic. Mom's voicemails soaked in guilt. My sister's texts bouncing between tears and rage. Then a new message popped up. Family Zoom, Monday 6 p.m. The subject line said, just a check-in. Just a check-in. At 5:59, I sat at my desk wearing a blue sweater. The same one I wore when I started the college fund years ago. That felt right. My hair was pulled back. My voice was calm. The Jensen Records folder sat open next to my laptop like a quiet friend. I clicked the join button. Faces appeared on my screen. All of them familiar. All of them pretending they weren't cornered. Mom looked nervous, hands folded tight. Dad stood behind her, arms crossed. My sister's face was red, but I don't think she'd been crying. Aunt Linda sat in the middle of her screen wearing a necklace, like she was the judge. My cousin Amy, always trying to keep the peace, smiled too big. Hi everyone. Let's keep this calm, okay? Of course, I said. I wouldn't want to upset anyone. Dad leaned forward. You didn't have to shut down the fund, Jenna. You could have just talked to us. Smiled. I didn't shut it down, Dad. Closed it. It was my name. My bank. My choice. Mom's voice cracked. That money was keeping us going. No, I said gently. I was. Aunt Linda sighed loud. Families have hard times, dear. You don't just turn off love. I looked right at her. You're right. I didn't turn off love. I turned off autopay. For a second, nobody breathed. My sister slammed her hand on her desk. You're loving this, aren't you? Watching us panic. You always needed control. I tilted my head. I didn't need control. I needed respect. Dad crossed his arms tighter. We trusted you. That was my moment. I reached for my mouse and clicked share screen. The spreadsheet filled everyone's view. Rows and rows of colored boxes. Years of payments. At the top in big black letters it said, Jensen Records. Gasp. What is that? 4 years, I said calmly. Every payment, every bill, every emergency you called love. The data scrolled down like a confession. Tuition for my sister. Car repairs. Insurance. Groceries. A laptop for my cousin. Next to every line, numbers added up into one impossible truth. $163,000, Amy whispered. Oh my God. Aunt Linda's smile got stiff. Some people really love keeping score. I stared at her. Someone had to. Or you'd still be calling me dramatic instead of right. Mom put her hand over her mouth. You wrote all this down. He nodded. Nobody else was keeping track. And I was tired of pretending I was crazy. Dad's face went white. You didn't have to embarrass us like this. I didn't embarrass you, I said quietly. I protected myself. Until you made it clear I was the only one doing that. The silence got so thick it felt heavy. I clicked to the next page. Another chart. Mueller. It said, what if? Noah had helped me make it. The numbers showed what I could have saved if I hadn't been their safety net. Small house. Savings account. Real life. My sister's voice cracked. You think money makes you better than us? No, I said. But it's the only reason you ever called me. Something caught my eye. Dad's phone lighting up next to him. He was texting someone, probably trying to plan what to say next. I scrolled again and pulled up a document. Before you decide I'm the villain, you should see this. The paper filled the screen. Jensen Family Education, LLC. Loan application. $85,000. Filed under my name. My social security number. My signature. Except I never signed it. Mom froze. Dad stepped back like the screen burned him. This, I said, tapping the screen, was filed 3 days after you told me to take a break. If I hadn't closed the fund, the bank would have handed over the money to a fake business account with my name on it. Aunt Linda swallowed. That can't be real. Oh, it's real. Kelly at the credit union confirmed it. I called her yesterday. My sister's tears stopped immediately. You went to the bank. Of course. Fraud usually gets people's attention. Dad tried to recover. We were just trying to help your sister with a business idea. I looked at him almost kindly. No. You were helping yourselves. You taught her that saving her was my job. But I quit. I reached beside me and lifted a stack of papers into the camera. I already talked to a lawyer. Every shared account is closed. Joint cards are cancelled. Bills are separated. I even filed a report with the IRS. Mom's voice shot up, thin and scared. You wouldn't. I already did. For a moment nobody moved. I watched the realization hit their faces. The moment a family that ran on my money realized the money was gone for good. Aunt Linda forced a fake laugh. You're being so dramatic, Jenna. We'll all talk when you calm down. I smiled softly. You don't get it. There won't be another talk. Love without limits becomes a bill. And I just paid mine in full. I stopped sharing my screen. The blank Zoom grid stared back. Every face frozen in a different flavor of panic. Dad's jaw tightened. So what, you want us to beg? No, I said. I want you to figure out how to live without draining me dry. Then I took a slow breath. You told me to step back. I did. And with one click I pressed leave meeting. The screen went black. My reflection stared back at me. A woman I almost didn't know. Not angry. Not shaking. Just free. I sat there looking at the empty screen, listening to my fridge hum in the kitchen. Sounded like cheering. Outside, the city kept going, not caring about any of this. Inside, the quiet finally felt like mine. For 4 years, I'd been buying their peace. Tonight I bought my own. For 3 days after that video call, my apartment felt like the center of a hurricane. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Dad's messages swung between mad and desperate. Fix this before we lose everything. Mom's voicemails shook with guilt. You've taken this too far, honey. My sister's texts were all in capital letters. You destroyed us. I didn't reply to any of them. I just let the notifications stack up until the sound became like white noise. Like rain on a roof I didn't live under anymore. On the 4th morning the buzzing stopped. The silence was thick and strange. But it didn't hurt. I went through every account one more time, double-checking that all the shared access was gone. My name was clean. No joint cards. No secret logins. For the first time in years my bank account looked like my life. Just mine. Then an email came from the credit union. Suspicious loan application. Jensen Family Education LLC under review. Funds frozen pending investigation. Kelly had kept her word. The loan was officially stopped. If I'd waited even one more day, I would have been $85,000 in debt for a business that didn't exist. That night, Noah came over with Chinese food. He didn't ask questions. He just sat next to me and said, "I'm proud of you." That word proud cracked something open in my chest. It was the first time anyone had said it without asking for something in return. A week later I got a call from Uncle Gene. The family outcast. The one they stopped inviting to holidays years ago. His voice was rough but warm. "I heard what happened," he said. "You're not the first, Jenna. Just the first one who turned off the faucet." I laughed and cried at the same time. You mean they did this to someone else? Not the loan, he said. But they bled me dry in the early 2000s. I had to move to another state just to survive. Every generation has someone who breaks the cycle. Looks like this time it's you. When we hung up, I cried hard. Not because I was sad. Because someone finally understood. For the first time in years, I slept all night. No buzzing. No overdrafts. No guilt. Just quiet. The kind you have to earn. A year has gone by since that night. My life is smaller now. Quiet in a good way. I live in a cozy apartment with floors that creak when I walk barefoot. I cook dinner with Noah instead of ordering out. And when I open my bank app, there are no surprise charges. No panic. Just calm numbers that are mine. Last Christmas, Mom emailed a picture of everyone around the tree. Presents piled up. Smiles that looked forced. The subject line said, "Family is forever." I didn't reply. Going back would mean handing over the keys to everything I rebuilt. Now when I look back at that group chat, the one with Aunt Linda's little thumbs up, I don't feel angry anymore. Feel proof. Boundaries aren't revenge. They're instructions for how to love me the right way. Or not at all. If you've ever had to draw that line, you're not the only one. Share your story in the comments below.